Hello and welcome to Mitchell's World, and I just watched the new Tomb Raider movie, and I have to say I loved it, and I really wanted to make something from the movie. So I was inspired by the puzzle that Laura Croft uses, and I made my own version of it. Let's see how it's done. Okay, now for this build, I had some pieces of oak. Now you saw in the movie it was like a darker hardwood is what it looked like the puzzle that she used was made of. So I decided to go with oak and then stain it more of a darker finish. And in the movie it was kind of hard to tell how the mechanism inside worked because she like twisted it like how this puzzle does with it rotating. But I couldn't tell how they got a little container in to fit this way and they pull it out. I had no idea how they did that. So I made it a little different, and I had the message inside this center piece here. So how I did that is I cut out small squares that were 4 inches across and down, so it was even and it was easy for me to measure it and to put the right point where I can drill the hole through so this all fits together evenly. But instead of just putting the same hole throughout the whole thing and just having it spin evenly, I drilled partly through this bottom one, about halfway through, and then this top one I drilled all the way through, and I used a spade bit to do that. I also took a large bit that is made for cutting very big holes into wood, and I cut into 2 pieces so that they would move a lot more than just turning like this middle one here. It would actually move out a little further so that I could put little tricks in there, like this little hole here that I drilled through, so it looks like that has something to do with the puzzle, which it actually doesn't. It's just for misleading you. And now once I did that, I could take this middle piece here and I cut like a U shape into it so that it would be hollow and I can use it to hold stuff, or to hold something that I want somebody to find once they solve the puzzle. And once I did that, I glued 2 other pieces on top of it which already had the holes drilled through them, and I put the dowel through while it was drying so that it would dry evenly, and I can put the dowel through and it will still turn and work the way I want it to. And then I ended up drilling some holes through the sides here, because originally I wanted to make this to where the door would kind of clamp into these little holes here by putting flimsier pieces of wood on the front door, and so you can put a little peg or something into that hole and push the little dowel out so it would just pop out and you can get it that way. But it didn't work very well, so it ends up just being something that is just kind of a false lead, so it looks like you have to do something with that, but you don't. So the way to get that out though is you take this little knob and you twist it off and you press on where I have these little dots, and you pick whichever dot you want and you start to beat on it, and then the door starts to open. You can pull it out, or you can pull the note or whatever's in there out. And to put this little knob on there, I actually drilled through the dowel once this was all assembled, and I drilled a hole that was just a little smaller than the screw that is in this knob here, so that when I would try to turn it in, it would actually cut the grooves in it by itself. So now I can unscrew that and screw it back in without losing it or anything like that. And I have to say one thing though, when using this big bit here, be very careful. I would actually drill those holes before you cut these pieces out, because I had a hard time holding on to it and I didn't have clamps that were the right size that would work for me. So try to make sure that you use this before you cut these into little pieces, because that'll give you more space to put your hands on and for you to be safe while holding it, and for you to support it enough to where that drill bit doesn't grab it and fling it on you. That's just my opinion. But when I had all these cut out and sanded the way I liked and everything like that, I then stained it. I just used one coat. You can use however much, if you want to stain it at all or if you want to paint it, whatever you prefer. It doesn't matter a whole lot. But I let that all dry, and then when I put that dowel through and glued it to this base here, and then put all the other pieces on top of it, and then for this last piece I glue in the circle and then pressed it into that dowel. And now some glue went out the top, but that's fine, you can wipe that off real quick and it shouldn't give much issue. And then once I did that, I drilled the hole so that I could put this knob in there. And once that is all done, we have a puzzle. And as a side note, when you're drilling into this centerpiece here, be wary of that, because it did get caught on me on the drill press and pulled up, and if I wasn't paying attention it would have hurt a lot. So be wary of that. I would probably drill into it before you assemble this and before you even cut out that little section, so that it has more room to grip and you're not drilling through and then getting caught and then twisting it. Thank you very much for watching this video. And as I already said, I loved the Tomb Raider movie. It was super fun. I was super engaged. I loved the story. The action was great. But I'll leave the full rundown of that movie for Nico at his channel, Nikos9, which I'll leave in the description below, because he actually just put out a video. It's really great. It's about Tomb Raider and his opinion on it, because we both saw it together. And why don't you go and check it out. And let's see what's inside this puzzle. It's a note. It says subscribe. I think you should do it. But if you choose not to, that's okay. But I'd appreciate that, and I'd appreciate a like as well. And why not leave a comment? Did you enjoy this? You want me to try another one? Do you think it's crap? Let me know. As always, have a good one.